Hello everyone, it is Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. Of course, today was New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for the new comic book video. I picked up some really nice books this week that I'm excited for, a couple of books that I've already read, and then I have some pictures that I got from this past weekend at Days of the Dead convention here in Las Vegas, which was, a decent convention. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. And then I have some Halloween themed books I'm going to show, and then a question from a viewer, and then a comment about another topic. So we have a lot to cover. Let's jump right into it. First book, Venom 29. Right here, cover A. And a really nice cover B right there. Really wicked looking cover there. Perfect for Halloween. Speaking of Halloween, a book that I loved as a kid, and I'm excited that has a title again, Werewolf by Night, number 1, cover A. I'm interested to see how they're going to take this character because I do love Werewolf by Night. And then right there, cover B. Kind of a, can't be really nice if that was actually a glow-in-the-dark right there, which I do not believe it is, but it would still be kind of cool. And then also from Marvel, a really nice Alex Ross Daredevil. I've always been a Daredevil fan. We've talked about that on this channel, and I saw this one. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to grab this one as well. Unfortunately, that's all I picked up from Marvel. We're going to go right into DC. Harley Quinn from Black Label, book number 1. I haven't read that yet, but I am interested in reading this. Little Joker action right there. So there's Harley Quinn number 1 from Black Label. They've been kind of having some really bad stories lately, so I'm hoping, they started off real hot, and then their last few, in my opinion, haven't been that great. So I'm anxious to see what they do with the Harley Quinn. Catwoman 26, right there. Batman 101, cover A. And cover B. Nice cover there. And then, of course, the hot release this week from DC was from Death Metal, Robin King number 1. With the exception of the variants, as far as, the 1 in 10s, 1 in 15s, 1 in 25s, only one cover for Robin King, which was kind of surprising the way, they've been adding multiple covers, so it was refreshing to see that. One cover for Robin King, there it is. Anxious to read that story to see what they're going to do with the character. And then time for the Independents, which I have over here. Faithless 2, number 5, erotic cover. Nothing erotic about that cover. Faithless is kind of, it's weird. They'll do a regular cover for $3.99, an erotic cover for $4.99, and sometimes the erotic cover is real wicked and shows a lot of, reason why it's an erotic cover, and then they have something like that which really isn't that bad of a cover. You see the same thing or even more on a Zombie Tramp cover than you do on that. So there was that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 110. First appearance in this book right here. So kind of a cool looking cover, like those pigs right there, and that is part of the first appearance. Betty Page number 3, photo cover. Nothing to talk about there. Betty Page. I will always buy Betty Page. Cannot go wrong with that. From Absolute Comics, Wayward Sons number 1. This is an older book, but it finally came in for me. Kind of like the way that, title kind of goes in the light right there. So Wayward Sons number 1 from Absolute. I've talked about this book. There's only one issue left after this one. I absolutely love it. Devil's Highway, number 4 of 5. And you can see the nooses on her hands right there. This issue kind of gives you the idea of what those stand for. Really, really cool concept. There's also a Jason mask in this book that I found in one of the panels. So it was kind of funny to see that. And then a book that needs no introduction, Something is Killing the Children, number 11, cover A. And Virgin variant right there. This story just continues to be really, really good. Again, this was picked up for television, and since it was picked up for television, that book just keeps going up and up and up. And since we are in the month of December, I showed movies last video. How about some comic books this time? First comic we're going to show, no particular order, Tomb of Dracula, number 41, 25-cent cover, and wouldn't be Halloween without Dracula scaring some kids on Halloween. So there's a real cool cover right there. Tomb of Dracula, number 51. This is from 1976. Fighting Blade right there. Cool cover. Again, anything Dracula is Halloween. Monsters Beware. I got this because this is from 1971. Nice mid-grade copy of this. Actually, Beware the Monsters are here instead of are coming. That is a Neil Adams cover right there. So follows the Halloween and a great Neil Adams cover. Neil Adams, really prominent in the 70s, along with this next artist, which is Tomb of Dracula, number 43. Another upper mid-grade book. Tomb of Dracula, number 43. Bernie Wrightson cover. Of course, Dracula popping out of the grave to grab him a little meal right there. So absolutely love that. Marvel Spotlight, Son of Satan, number 14 from 1973. Upper grade on that one. I got it an 8.5, means it's probably higher than that. But Satan falls with Halloween, so there's a cover right there. The Man-Thing from 1974, number 7. Of course, it says Monster right on the cover, so you all know that. Perfect for Halloween. And then finally, the last book I picked today for this was The Monster of Frankenstein, number 3 from 1973. This is a Plug cover. This is kind of a homage, if you want to look at it. What does that remind you of? This reminds me of the first appearance of Swamp Thing, where he's looking in the door, girl at the table, kind of, sort of. So there was that right there. Just kind of interesting for me when I saw that cover. I love The Monster of Frankenstein. Really cool cover. Nice color on that right there. I got this as a mid-grade 6.0. It's probably a much higher grade than that. I have so many books I have to go back and regrade just because, you know, some of them got maybe a tick down or something sitting in boxes. And so there was that. And then, of course, this past weekend, Days of the Dead, I went with my friend Rudy. There was a couple people that canceled, that I was kind of upset about, but I was able to pick up a couple of new pictures. I'm one of those guys, I'll go and I'll look at everybody and see the different stars that are there. And then, you know, if I already have an autographed picture, I'm not going to buy another autographed picture. The only one I did, this is Tony Moran. This is from Halloween 1 right there, because I got my picture taken with him, and he gave you a free picture if you got a picture. And he was the last Michael Myers I needed to have my picture taken with. So I wanted to finish that set right there. And of course, he did a nice little personalization there too, Daniel. You Can't Kill the Boogeyman. Tony Moran, Michael Myers, Halloween 1, which is a really, really cool, personalization right there. Really nice signature too, not real cheap. Looks really good on the silver. And of course, that's him from his real prominent scene right there where he chokes good old Jamie Lee, Laurie Strode, and she pulls the mask back, puts the mask back on. That was all Tony Moran because there were multiple Michael Myers. The next one I'm going to show you, I had a chance to meet Linnea Quigley. Of course, she is, one of the top scream queens of the 80s, did a lot of movies. And then, of course, one of her famous roles there from Return of the Living Dead, right before the stripper scene, where she strips in the cemetery, and she gave a nice personalization. Daniel, do you ever fantasize? Well, when I was younger, yes, I did, because, not so much in that outfit, but she was a beautiful, beautiful girl. Super, super nice, had a nice picture. Very short. Didn't realize she was as short as she was, but still, really, really nice. Talked a lot about the, the movie and the filming of the different things that she had done over time. Next up is Felicia Rose. And I loved her because she was super nice, very nice to everybody, very thankful for being there. And of course, if you don't know who she is, she was the main girl here in Sleepaway Camp. And she did a nice personalization on this picture. Meet me at the waterfront after the social. And so, of course, everybody knows what that means. It's just a line from the movie. And so I was very happy to get that. And then if you go to my Instagram page, you can look at the pictures I posted. She did the face at the end of the movie, the famous face, standing with me. And I got nice pictures with Tony Moran and Linnea Quigley. And then, of course, I didn't get the autograph. I already have one, but I did get my picture taken with Anthony Michael Hall. Super, super nice. And that's also up on the Instagram page. And he is also going to be in Halloween Kills. Now, if you don't know, Halloween Kills has been pushed back to a release date of October 15th, 2021. And he plays Tommy, a grown-up Tommy, in the movie. So I'm very excited to see that. So there was that. I hope you enjoyed those there. And then I had a question from a viewer named Machete7, I believe it was. And he asked me a question about another channel called Very Gary Comics. Now, I watch Very Gary Comics, and his comment was he thinks that he's, supporting CGC because Very Gary gets a lot of books graded by CGC. He does get a lot of books graded by CGC, and Very Gary Comics is the epitome of what a flipper is. He buys these collections. He sends all these books out to get graded. He does groups of like 20, 25 books at a time. But he does this thing that CGC does, which I never really agreed with, because you talk about, CGC manipulating grades for profit and not getting books graded correctly. Here is a perfect example of that. Very Gary sends, most of his books he sends in are modern books and variants, and he always asks for a 9.8. He sends them in, and he'll send groups of 25 in for a 9.8. And it's kind of like a pre-screen 9.8 service that CGC has. You can pay the money, and you can request, the book come back a 9.8, and if it's not a 9.8, you send the book back. It costs $5 if it doesn't make the 9.8 grade, or if it does make the 9.8 grade or higher, you will pay the full grading fee. Now, with that said, what do you think CGC is going to do if you have a book that is a 9496, but you can slap a 98 on it? Instead of getting $5 for the book, you can get $30 for the book. What do you think is going to happen there? We already know CGC's grading practices have been really suspect the past few years, especially recently. And, if you want money, they're just you can throw any label on it, and people out there who live and die by the grading are going to believe the grade. You can have a book that's a 6.5 and CGC is going to say it's a 9. And regardless of how crappy that book looks in the holder or how much damage that book has, people are going to believe that it's a 9. It's bad for the industry, bad for business, and, guys like Very Gary Comics. Now, again, I don't know the man. I enjoy his videos. I like watching what he does, but it's customers like that that continue allowing CGC to do the things that they do because we as a community are not stepping up, or those of you who get books graded are not demanding proper grades. As long as CGC has a practice where, I'll give you the grade that you want and you're going to pay me the fee, that's not honest. That's not honest, and ultimately that's killing the industry. It's killing the industry right now as it relates to all the variants, all the covers, because of collectors like that who just buy everything, buy all the variants, and then immediately send them in to get graded the day they get them. So there was that. I personally think it's bad for the industry. I know I'm probably going to get blasted by some of my viewers on that because a lot of you do like to get your books graded, but I just think it's bad for the industry. And then finally, Comic Tom 101 is another channel that I watch. I like watching their channels. They do like weekly hot books, but the hot books are always hot. They're not giving you information on anything new on the hot books. They're not giving you advice on books that you may think might be hot. I mean, I told the channel here about Ice Cream Man that I thought Ice Cream Man was going to be big, Something's Killing the Children was going to be big, and other independent titles that I thought were going to be, really hot books that I was looking forward to, that I was going to buy because of that. A lot of you who watch this channel have been able to purchase books like that because they say, I took a chance on your book. I took a chance on what you said, and you're exactly right what happened. Devil's Highway was one that I said was going to be a really, really good book because it had everything that, would be good for television: serial killer, trucker, female. It touched all the boxes for that, and of course it's going to do that. It's a hot title. People really enjoy that book. Now, Comic Tom had a video this past, the last one that he did, where it talked about black mold on a book. They picked up a Iron Fist 14, a very high key book, and this thing was covered in black mold. And if you don't know anything about black mold kills people. Okay, so if you have a book with black mold, I don't care what it is. I mean, that's dangerous. That can cause harm to your lungs. It can make you sick. It kills you. But they got this book. They have a guy who can clean black mold, and he puts it in like an ozone machine, sucks the oxygen, puts a material on it, and a lot of the black mold disappeared. You still had, I mean, it's still a book in really bad condition. But my question for that is, the reason I don't agree with that is because what is the difference between that and a qualified book? Because you are now altering the general appearance of the book. You know, people complain that I say if you press a book, you get a pressing on it. Back in the day, pressing was considered an alteration on the book. Now it's an accepted practice. You can press a book, they don't count against it. What's next? Color touch-ups are going to be okay. You're going to be able to replace pages, it's going to be okay. When does it stop being an altered book and start being a qualified grade book? Because I think qualified grade books, like we stated here in the past, is some of the, you know, most underhanded money grabs that you can get. But you know what? When you start dealing with, you know, subscription creases, which I still think is something that shouldn't be counted against because that was the way the book came. They talk about that. But you're now talking about this latest thing, black mold, so you're going to see more videos on cleaning, black mold, water damage, things like that. I mean, look, you've altered the book. In my opinion, you've altered the book. The thrill for me, and the thrill for a lot of you talking to you and getting messages from the viewers in this community, the thrill is finding that raw book in the wild, as people say, unaltered, untouched, unadjusted. I mean, if you have to buy a book off the shelf and get it pressed, I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. But again, like I've said 1,000 times, you don't have to agree with me on this stuff, and you can do whatever you want with your money. It's your money. But, you know, getting books, you know, getting modern books rated for 9.8 and then seeing tons and tons of videos, and you can find these things on YouTube where a person, you know, doesn't get a 9.8, he gets a 9.6 or 9.4, and he gets all bent out of shape about it because, you know, he wanted that 9.8, and now he's saying, well, I'm going to take the book out and I'll get it pressed again, and I'll send it back in and get a 9.8. Now you're just paying double the money to try to get a 9.8 on a modern book that really, you know, do you really want a book like that bad? But again, I digress. I get going. So as you know, I started a new job, and it is a opening of a brand new casino here in Las Vegas. So for the next few weeks, I'll be working 7 days a week, sometimes 10, 12 hours a day, as we get ready for the grand opening of the casino. The casino opens October 28th here in Las Vegas. With that said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a video done depending on how much sleep I'm getting. I will try to get videos done moving forward. But if I don't, if I'm not able to get a video, that is the reason why. It's because I'm working tons of hours and my sleep is going to be at a very minimum, and I'm going to need it. So, you know, if I don't see you, have a very, very safe Halloween. Watch some movies. You know, I watched Halloween with my wife last night because we might not be able to watch that on Halloween night because of having to work the new job. So we watched Halloween last night, the original, which we do every year. And so I'm excited about that. I hope you enjoyed the books that I picked up. I hope you enjoyed the pictures I showed, and I hope you enjoyed the vintage stuff I showed. And again, the comments that I make on this channel as it relates to you know, what we discussed or what a topic that I discussed, those are my personal opinions. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. I'm certainly not bashing anybody. I enjoy the content of Comic Tom. I enjoy watching Barry Gary comics. I just think that some of the content isn't anything new, and that's just my personal opinion on that. So again, thank you everybody who's a subscriber to this channel. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell so you know when I got new videos coming out. And again, have a very safe Halloween. There's a lot of garbage going on in the country right now, and we just have to be safe. Have fun, be safe, and if you didn't like the video, nothing I can do for you as always. I'll talk to you later.